Before I was diagnosed with ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease, I was an avid hunter and outdoorsman. I retired from my job in 2007 because I have ALS. Before I was in this wheelchair, I worked for 29 years for a concrete batch plant equipment manufacturing company. I worked my way up from an electrician to become vice president of operations, supervising over 200 men. It wasn't a desk job. I was over the warranty department and I traveled and worked in the field for 20+ years, taking care of our customers and making sure they were happy. Going from being very busy and active to staying in one place was very difficult for me, but I managed to adapt. In 2008, we moved from our home of 20 years where our children grew up because it was a 2-story house. Once I was in this wheelchair, I needed to be on one level. We made the move to Arlington to be closer to family, and we specifically chose a home with an open floor plan and a big backyard. Because I could no longer drive and needed more assistance and equipment, the proceeds from the sale of our home in Cedar Hill would be used to create a place where I could relax and enjoy the outdoors right out my own back door. In 2012, I began contacting pond and landscaping contractors to build a waterfall, pond, and patio in our backyard. I was not able to speak by that time, but I could communicate via iPhone, email, and text messages. After interviewing several contractors, we decided to go with Prime Landscape Services because they could offer a turnkey service. They could construct a waterfall stream, build a pond, a stone patio, provide lighting, and landscaping all in one package. We also contracted with them to reconfigure our sprinkler system to accommodate the new additions to our backyard and address any drainage issues they might cause. I spent many hours in the backyard prior to the construction imagining how I wanted it to look. I worked with John Hoover of Prime Landscape to lay out the design of the waterfall and pond. In late August of 2012, construction began, and by the end of the month, the pond and patio were complete. We were happy with what we had. At completion, we paid for the patio and pond project in full. By the first week of October 2012, only 5 weeks after it was finished, cracks had started to appear in the grout. I immediately notified Prime Landscape and they tried to repair the grout numerous times. Then, they made a saw cut all the way across the path to the patio. We didn't like the saw cut and specifically said so. We also said we did not want any additional saw cuts. In January 2013, we asked for a bid from Prime Landscape to do pond and lawn maintenance. We hired them for a contract term of 1 year. By March, there were more big and small cracks across the patio. Then, on May 20th, without notifying us they were even at our home or what they planned to do, the Prime Landscape crew made 2 more long saw cuts in an overlapped V-shape all across the main part of the patio. With that obvious an error, Prime Landscape agreed to rebuild the patio, which they finally begin at the end of June. I specifically asked for a meeting to discuss any further repairs. That meeting never took place. Prime Landscape elected to make major design changes to the patio. Throughout the rebuild, we expressed our concerns. Our original patio was taken apart, chopped up, and built again. But the large stones we had already bought and paid for had already been cut and damaged and then reconfigured using the smaller damaged pieces. The substructure was built up higher and wider grout and smaller pieces of stones filled in the gaps. The path to the main patio area was widened by a foot. The main patio area was reduced by Prime Landscape choosing on their own to remove the 16-inch cantilever design feature. During the rebuild, we asked that the back end of the patio be enlarged to reach the back area where there is a short row of bushes. After the rebuild, that area curves into the bushes, but does not extend the full length that we had asked for. The vertical space between the patio and the pond is now filled with pieces of broken flat stone instead of rounded boulders as it was before. These stones are already falling and can puncture the liner when they fall. The extra height to the patio makes it harder for me to see into the pond, especially without the cantilevered ledge. Stones around the patio are very uneven and make me rock back and forth in my chair. I don't go out alone because it's not safe. Continued drainage problems killed one of our trees and made it necessary to spend more money to fix the drainage problem. We have tried very hard to work with Prime Landscape, and we have been more than patient, giving them multiple opportunities over the last year and a half to honor the warranties they promised to provide. We paid for the job in full and have experienced problem after problem. Every time they try to fix something, it ends up far worse than before. This rebuilt design is not what we originally purchased. We just want what we paid for, and we don't want to waste any more precious time fighting this battle. We have far more important things to do with our time. Thank you for your time and understanding, and for listening.